I love our intro song.
You say it every fucking time.
I just love it so much. But welcome back to Books and Bullshit, where the topics are made up and your opinions don't matter. You guys know me, USA Today bestselling author, Amazon bestselling author, whoop whoop, Zachary Chopchinsky, the Bowtie author. I'm here with Martina McAtee, rolling her eyes as always, also a USA Today bestselling author, also a complete queen of dark and snark. What's up, Martina? How you doing?
And I'm almost always an Amazon best-selling author.
So am I.
F-Y.
Oh, my bad. I didn't realize. We ain't leaving out accolades up in this motherfucker. I'll tell you that much right now.
I'm just saying, I don't feel the need to shout it from the rooftops, but it's true. I'm almost always in the top 100.
Wow. So today's episode is brought to you by our Patreons, because they're always dope as shit. We'll talk about that a little later on. And Starbucks. They didn't give us any money for this shit whatsoever, but if it wasn't for Starbucks this morning, this shit wouldn't be happening.
Definitely wouldn't be doing this right
now. So shout out to Starbucks. If you're looking to sponsor a indie podcast, hit me up. Where was it? Is it? Okay, here. Take the picture. Photo op.
Zach being a basic bitch.
Fuck yeah, I gotta pose with my Starbucks, girl. On the note of Starbucks, I have a subject today that I'm surprising Layla and Martina with. Let me take a sip of my Starbucks.
Are we just going to talk for an hour about fucking Starbucks?
No, we're not.
Okay.
But we're talking...
I mean, I could talk intelligently for an hour about Starbucks, but not as much as Layla.
We're talking about a fun correlation that I don't think we all know that we do, but we do it.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Is this how we bring everything back to porn?
We do, don't we?
Everything comes back to porn and sex.
God damn.
That's what the name of this podcast should have been. It's always porn.
Yeah. Wait, is that a thing?
I'm telling you, if anybody should just have a podcast where we just talk about porn and sex, it's us, because that's all it leads back to. We literally
and we're really
use
good at
books
it.
Like a guise. Like it's like a cover for the fact that we're just secret perverts. Like it doesn't matter what the book is, we can take it back to
Martina's
sex.
worked in the porn industry. I've been in porns. I mean, really.
We should play that game where it's like, I give you a word, and then you see how long it takes you to correlate that word to porn.
Let's fucking do that
that's a
right
Patreon
fucking
thing
now.
If I've ever heard one.
Yeah, okay, no, we'll do that for the Patreon. That's what's going to happen. So if you guys want to hear that shit and all the other fun shit, go check out our Patreon. Again, we'll give you guys a little bit of info on that later. But no, something that we all do that we don't fucking think about. When we associate books, reading, and writing with food. Think about that. Because I can tell you right now so many stories about when I'm reading certain things while I'm reading it, or after I'm reading it, it gives me the cue for it, or while I'm writing, certain foods and drinks have to be going down. Like, that's my jizzam. Like, if I'm sitting at home and I have to write all day, like I took a day off work and I need to get like 10,000 words, I'm getting a bag of, it's usually 2 bags, I'm not going to lie, 40 counts. 2 bags of 40-count pizza rolls and a case of Monster Energy. Oh, that goes down.
Okay, that's why you're always on the verge of a heart attack.
Yeah. It's the pizza
That's also why you write faster than me. Jesus Christ. I thought my fucking Starbucks with like just full on like 500 milligrams of caffeine was like...
Oh no, I'm coked out of my mind with a near lethal dose of caffeine. Well, Voltaire used to do that. Voltaire used to consume 80 cups of coffee a day.
Well, I mean, Hemingway who said, write drunk, edit sober? So everybody's got their vice.
Yeah. Who was the dude that wrote the Alice in Wonderland?
Oh, he was on some shit.
Fucking right. But
he was on some major shit.
So since we're not allowed to take narcotics...
Wonderland was written by a woman.
Was it?
No.
Sure?
Uh-huh. I'm so sure I'm going to Google it.
I'm so sure I'm going to Google this.
Well, I've got it right here.
Right. Well, the name doesn't mean
Lewis
dick.
Carroll is who wrote Alice in Wonderland. Lewis. L-E-W-S.
You're right.
I mean, so sort of like a woman, because his last name's Carroll.
Is it Lewis?
I didn't even have to look it up. I finally just went, oh, that's right. I do know this.
Nope.
No?
The actual name is Charles Ludwig Dodgson under the pseudonym Lewis Carroll.
Oh, okay. Thanks, fucking Wikipedia.
Hooty hoo. Anyway, but
so are we talking reading or writing? Because when I'm reading, I
both.
don't usually
Let's talk
anything.
about food and books. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because sometimes people like get themselves set up. Like Layla, for example, I know she would do this, and her mom used to do this when Margaret Dowdy was reading books. she would have a can of Dr. Pepper, the blue can. Apparently Dr. Pepper used to be in blue fucking cans.
She used to have
That's
a car.
not right.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah.
That's
She used
not
to have
right at all.
Her favorite car, not her first car, but her favorite car was a Volkswagen Bug.
Painted the
That
color of
was-
Dr. Pepper?
Dr. Pepper can blue.
Oh, shit. I was guessing.
Yeah.
Hey.
And you see is the book up there, Gemini, like that blue, like that lightish blue.
Yeah.
Like it's a lighter blue, but yeah. But anyway, so she would have Dr. Pepper, a tomato, and salt. And she would salt the tomato, eat that, drink Dr. Pepper, and read books in the sun. Like that was like her shit. That's what she
Well, my
did.
mom was notorious for reading with, every year, I don't know if this happened when you were a kid, you would get the catalog that you would have to sell shit to people.
Yeah.
And it always, and it always had that giant tub of cheese
Yep.
that you could spread, the spreadable cheese. And it was like from Vermont or whatever, Vermont cheddar. And my mom would always get a big honking thing of it. And she would eat that on crackers while she read. And she would just lay in her bed with her book and her fucking cheese and crackers. And she would just go to town. I don't ever remember eating while I was reading because I was like fucking locked in. But when I'm writing, I cannot write without Starbucks. I just can't do it. I have a process, and it starts at Starbucks.
Well, mine, it starts with caffeine. I know that's bad, but because here in the United States anyway, we are not legally allowed to take hard narcotics when writing. I've never done drugs a day in my life, but I can tell you, if we were like Amsterdam friendly here in the U.S., I would be coked out of my mind when I was writing.
I don't think you should probably advertise that. I can't even imagine what your books would look like on a cocaine bender. Like,
I'd read all the goddamn books
seriously.
in a night.
Yeah, and they would all
By
be
the way-
garbage that Layla had to fucking decipher later.
By the way, drugs are bad, kids. Do not do drugs.
Though I will tell you, since I've been doing the CBD oil, when I was at therapy yesterday, I was talking to my therapist.
And I found out she wasn't even in the fucking room.
No, she just looks at me and she goes, "You seem really relaxed today." And I was like, "I actually feel pretty fucking relaxed today." She's like, "Oh, what's changed?" I was like, "I'm doing that CBD oil." She's like, "Oh, I've heard good things about it." I was like, "I've only been on it 5 days, but everybody says I'm a lot less of a psychopath, so I guess it's working."
All right. I need caffeine, a lot of it. And as we all know, if any of you guys out there listening to this know me personally or my writing career.
And if you'd like to send him caffeine, his address is.
Yeah, I know, right? You will know that caffeine has almost literally killed me twice while writing books.
And yet it still hasn't stopped him.
We're living on the edge.
And Layla's living on those life insurance policies.
I keep upping it.
I got a bomb-ass life insurance policy, so you're welcome.
More than
Layla.
you know.
I know. Those are just the ones you know you signed.
Anything over 750,000 is a bounty.
Oh my god! But
That's
I mean,
not a life insurance policy; it's a savings account.
pretty much. Well, it's like, you know, her mom, when they were going over like life insurance and the will, we were helping them write it, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna leave you all this shit in my will." I'm like, "Thanks, Margo." But they were talking about life insurance and all that stuff, and she was like, "Yeah, we just got $25,000. It's not much." And I said, "Why not more?" She goes, "I don't know." I said, "Well, you guys still owe on your house and stuff, and have all these other debts." She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, when you die, that debt transfers down." I said, "I mean, you would think that you would want a life insurance that would at least cover your home, so that's paid off, and that's one less thing, and blah, blah, blah." That's a good idea. So they went out and got life insurance policies to at least cover their fucking mortgage.
And then they mysteriously died.
Yeah, we don't know where they went. The vacation or something a couple years ago.
It's very strange. Anyway, how's that new book working out for you, Zach?
Huh? I know, right? You should see what I bought Layla yesterday. She was angry.
Is it that peacock in your front yard?
No, that's just Florida.
It's true. I can hear the peacocks when I walk Charlie in your backyard because I grew up with them, so I know the sound, the call they make. I'm like, oh, I wonder where they are.
Okay, our condo that we were in Orlando, the neighborhood right next to us, somebody just released a shitload of condos, so we would go down, we would drive through the neighborhood, and you'd see 15,
They
20...
released a shitload of condos.
No, peacocks.
You said condos. I
said-
was like, damn, I wish somebody would release a shitload of condos and
Fuck you.
just wandering condos everywhere.
Caffeine's making me jittery. You know what I fucking meant.
So imagine how he writes on this.
Right? It's sporadic as shit. But so we would always drive down the neighborhood and we'd see him and we'd go, peacock! But they're every fucking where. I want to get peacocks. But I remember we went to the San Diego Zoo, which is the best experience I think so far in my life. Next to marrying
Wow. Man, that fucking life insurance policy
just
starts
went
to look
up.
better and better.
Next to marrying you, honey.
That's the most honest thing you've ever said, asshole.
No, you don't understand. There were pandas there.
Sorry, Layla, you're cute, but you're not panda cute.
No, okay. Story
You're
time.
only squirrel cute.
Funky squirrel, cute.
Story time. So, I've always loved pandas
Sidebar
since I was a
nation.
kid. And pandas are my favorite animal to this day. I know so much about pandas. Like the Latin name is Ailuropoda melanoleuca. They only can have one panda cub at a time, and they are blind and furless for the first 6 months. If they have more than one, the mother will discard. I know everything about pandas. Always wanted to see one. So we go to the San Diego Zoo, and they have pandas. But we're going by the enclosures, and there are two.
Just so you know, we did not just hit fast forward on this. This is actually how fast he's talking.
So there are two panda enclosures there. There's the male and the female. The first one is you're making your way downtown, walking past there.
And strangely, Michelle Branch is on the back of a fucking with a keyboard. She's just singing to the pandas. I always wondered what happened to her. She's working at the San Diego Zoo.
So we're walking, and the female panda comes out from behind these trees and just saunters up to like where everybody's standing. And
Did she do it like RuPaul? Because that's the way your
no,
head bobbles.
check
going.
this. So she like
She
just
was all
saunters
like,
up,
Check it out,
and
bitch.
she looks at everybody. She turns around and spray shits.
And Zach was in love.
Yeah, I was like, this
I
is the woman for
was
me.
pissing myself. I said, all my life I had to fight to get to pandas. And the first panda I see in real life just spray shits everywhere. And so we make our way over to the second one, and you don't see him. But there's a pile of bamboo in the middle of it. And then as you're looking, all of a sudden the bamboo starts to shimmy. And then a fat fucking paw shoots out of the bamboo and grabs bamboo. And then this fat fucker sits up, and all this bamboo is just falling off of him. And he just looks around.
Zach's like,
Just like
this is
chewing.
him, my spirit animal. I found him at
And
the
then
last.
he takes a bite of bamboo, lays back down, and covers himself back up in bamboo. And I'm like, yes. So anyway, so we're
5 stars, 10 out of 10. I love you. You're perfect. Don't change.
So we're walking around that zoo. There's all sorts of other fun shit in that zoo. Like there was one sign in front of the giraffe enclosure that says the San Diego Zoo is proud to home nearly 24 special needs, in quotation marks, animals. And right behind that sign, there is a full-size giraffe, its neck bent at a 90-degree angle, and it is licking a flagpole.
You know how long it took to train him to do that?
The fucking best shit ever. And, like, I'm serious. I got so much material from this fucking zoo visit. So,
This episode's called Zachary Goes to the Zoo.
we'll get back to the books Sunday. And so anyway, so all of this to get to, we're walking around and I see some peacocks. And so I look around and I run up to and find the first employee there. And I'm like, your peacocks got out. And he looks at me like I'm special needs. And he's like,
Well, you were licking that flagpole, Zach.
they're like, they don't have an enclosure. They're just there. Oh, never mind.
Cool peacocks, man.
So anyway, so I like pizza rolls when I write. I mean, Martina, do you associate, like, food, like, has there ever been, like, a book where, like, the reading it just makes you crave something?
Well, because in my books, Issa stress bakes whenever she's stressed out, like the alpha of the wolf pack. She in the very first part of the book, she's making pumpkin muffins. Usually if Issa mentions anything to do with food, it's because that food is actually being baked at that time in my house. So every fall, Michaela goes fucking pumpkin spice crazy.
She's so basic.
So basic.
Who goes pumpkin spice crazy in the
Lesbians. And Zach.
Lesbians.
Who's kind of a lesbian in himself.
Excuse me, according to 2 very reputable sources, I am a gay icon.
Okay, that would be my 2 lesbians.
They are very...
And I don't know if anybody would call them reputable.
They are subject matter experts.
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Boom.
They're only half lesbians now.
Yeah, what happened to that? I miss those days.
Fucking no, man. Anything to make a liar out of me. I'm
I-
like, oh, Jordan's gold star gay, has no interest in dick. She's like, I have something to tell you. I'm like, God damn it. Stop making a liar out of me. You guys will go through such extremes just to make me look stupid. Even taking dick. Like,
And I was impressed with the gold star gay thing, too. I was like, hell yeah.
it's because Zach never managed to get through life without taking at least once a dick.
I work in corporate America. I take dicks on the regular.
Just dicks in his face all the time. Slap, 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 slap.
It's like one of those like radio soap operas from the 40s. It's like I'm just making sound effects. Like,
He's
yeah,
got 2 coconuts. Like,
dicks
what?
everywhere.
It's just Layla slapping him with a fucking dildo.
You'll never catch me alive, copper.
But yeah, so anytime you see Issa eating or stress baking, or it's usually because that's in my house and I'm smelling it at the time, and I'm just like, pumpkin muffins. Sounds good. There's been references to pumpkin muffins, cookies, cupcakes, like.
I definitely write my own preferences. Like, it's funny because we always talk about, speaking about that, if you read my books, read them, a lot of coffee is consumed in every one of my books.
Same. There's like an entire scene in my book that has to do with one of the characters drinking the last little bit of coffee in the canister and then putting it back, and her flipping the fuck out when she goes to make coffee. And it's just like she goes like this with the container, and all she hears is the scoop rattling around, and she's just like,
God damn it.
what did I tell you about leaving the
And like in the Curious Gabrielle series, I like Gabrielle's favorite dish, chicken paprikash, which is one that my grandmother used to make me all the time, and I fucking love it.
paprikash. Well, don't you? God damn it, Zachary. No, I just don't you remember? Have you ever watched When Harry Met Sally?
No.
Oh my God, you're a fucking asshole. How is
What?
that
Go fuck you, lady. I'm
How is
sorry.
that possible? It's like such a classic. But
Who's in it?
Billy Crystal and Meg Ryan.
Excuse the shit out of me. I haven't fucking seen it, so how would I fucking know
Oh my
who's
God,
in
it's
it?
because it's literally a fucking classic movie. Like, I don't know anybody who doesn't know that movie. Except you're fucking millennial. Are you even a millennial?
Technically, I missed the cutoff by a year.
So what does that make you?
A douchebag.
Clearly.
No, I mean, I missed the cutoff of not being a fucking millennial by a year.
But when, so it starts off, they're friends, and then he tries to hit on her, and she gets mad, and then they don't talk to each other, but then they reconnect years later, and they become friends, and then they kind of, like, fall for each other, whatever, like, but at one point, they're walking through a museum, and he decides that they're going to talk in a weird accent the whole time they're there, and one of the words he says is paprikash, and he's saying it in this, like, weird, like, kind of throaty, nasally thing, and she's trying to mimic him saying it. So when you said that, I just had this like complete like what do you call it? Like recovered memory of like that scene in the movie, and I just lost complete concentration of what you were talking about because now Billy Crystal's in my head just saying paprikash over and over again.
God, it's delicious. Have you ever had
I don't even know what it is.
So it's a Polish dish. It's almost like a chicken stock based cream soup.
It's chicken and dumplings.
It's just chicken and dumplings. That's all
Oh,
it is.
then I make that all the time.
But it's like a sour cream based sauce, like soup with chicken and dumplings. It's not like a broth base. You know, so,
But that sounds kind of like Swedish meatballs without the Swedish part.
It is chicken
Without the
hot dog.
meatballs.
Without the Swedish and without the meatballs.
Just the cream sauce, the
Swedish-
sour cream.
Swedish meat and bowling. Oh God, sorry, honey, my leg hurts. I gotta stretch it for a second.
You look fucking ridiculous in those socks, just so you know.
You leave my goddamn my Argyle socks alone.
You're wearing 2 different socks.
They're both reds. Ish.
No.
Yes.
You're wrong.
That looks like Harley Quinn's clothing, and that one looks like the shitty Starburst that nobody likes to eat.
I mean, you're not wrong, but neither of those things match.
Like, that's one thing. Talking about food, right? Like, Starburst and Skittles. Let's have a talk. Everybody, all chocolate companies sit down. Starburst and Skittles. Get rid of the yellow and red ones. Stop doing it. Just stop.
Also, Skittles, can we stop making those creepy as fuck commercials where people are picking candy off of people's faces and eating it?
Did you
that
see the...
makes me want to fucking vomit.
Did you see the banned German one where the dude's banging his wife? So yeah,
I don't think so.
They get married. It's a legit commercial. They're married. Obviously, they're in a hotel room, and she's still in a dress, up on all fours on a bed, and he's just going to town. And
fucking Germany, man.
And he's wearing his suit, but like obviously it's just his dick out, and you can't see anything on.
I was like, wait, wow, that's really bold.
Well,
I was like, is it a porno?
You can't see anything on him because the way all the fabric is, because they're still wearing their clothes. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go. And she goes, okay. Hops down on the floor, gets on her knees, and the standard like tongue out, mouth open, and he's standing above her, and then all of a sudden just starts shooting Skittles all over her face. The look on Martina's face right now.
I'm so shocked. Like, and it's really hard to shock me. Again, I used to work in porn. I have seen people getting hit in the face with all kinds of things, but never Skittles.
Yeah, later on. Hang on.
But again, it all came back to sex. Boom.
Damn it!
Didn't even take that long.
Shit. It did.
Telling you, we're just missing an opportunity. Just be the sex podcast.
Yeah.
Or later.
Well, I want to show her now just because it's only like 30 seconds.
30 seconds, you'll
So
never
press
get back.
play. I want her reaction in this since we're talking about.
I don't see anything happening.
So now Martina's watching the video.
First off, he would never be able to bang that girl. She's way hotter than him. What are those fucking glasses? I'm so horrified right now. But I will tell you, if guys actually came with Skittles, girls would be way more into blowjobs. Also, they'd be a lot fatter. Just saying.
Yeah, those would go hand in hand.
Also, if a guy hadn't came in a while, that could put somebody's eye out. So it's probably a good thing that
Have you seen the movie?
Choked.
Have you ever seen the movie Hitchcock with Will Smith?
Yes, once in the theater.
So there's like a scene where he's hooking up with a chick they met at a bar, and she's on top in his trailer, and he's like, "All right, when I say it, you got to get off me." And so she's like riding him around him. He's like, "Get off me now!" And she's still riding him. He's like, "No!" And he grabs her and throws her to the side. And then all of a sudden, you see outside the trailer, and ping, 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 like 3 holes shoot through the ceiling of the fucking trailer.
Yeah, they never talk about that in superhero movies.
Super cum.
Yeah, the dangers of fucking superheroes. See, that could be a whole episode.
Okay.
We're really missing an opportunity
Okay.
here.
Pin in that. We'll come back to that. So you know, so that's funny because you know how that kind of goes. I wonder if when they were writing Alice in Wonderland, if that whole tea scene, like he was like fucking just doped out of his mind at like a tea party or something. It was
Well,
like,
yeah,
oh,
no,
shit.
he totally was just absolutely. They said he was tripping balls the entire.
Oh, he was doing opium and chasing the dragon the whole time.
Yeah, the whole time, as evidenced by that fucking caterpillar.
Yeah.
That goddamn creepy as fuck
Just
caterpillar.
Taking fucking
He's
bong
like,
rips and
"Sup,
dragging
homie?"
from the hookah. Oh man, good times.
See, we brought a book into it. Done. Mission accomplished.
We don't.
Anyway, let's move back to the porn. No, I'm just kidding.
And the Harry Potter also used to, because she always went into grave detail, like when they're like in the Great Hall and they're having food and things like that, and like all the different things. But then there's like some food that she made up, and I'm like, I think you made that up for the aesthetic of being from the wizarding world of Harry Potter, because I don't know if I'd ever drink pumpkin juice.
No, pumpkin juice sounds horrific. Like, just absolutely disgusting. And every time I read about drinking pumpkin juice, I was just like, oh, stop it. Oh,
Why would you do that?
Why? Oh, it just gives me the heebie-jeebies just thinking about it. But it is kind of weird, though, because the idea of pumpkin juice, like, in that setting, very Halloween-like, with the candles all hanging down and everything, it was a total mood. It was like, it's just a straight up aesthetic. You're just like,
That's what I'm
yes,
saying,
I totally want that at my wedding. Like everything Harry Potter is like. Did you see the Slytherin wedding, by the way?
No.
Yeah, they did a whole Slytherin mood board for like a wedding, and like the girl was in this like glittery green dress, and the cake was like white, but it had a gold snake wrapped around it with like the mouth biting the top of the cake. Cool. I saw it, and I was like, oh, Zach would have liked that. He'd look great in that green dress.
I would have.
You would have totally.
I said the joke the other day at work. The HR lady was talking about, her daughter's very tomboy, and she was like graduating into middle school or something, and she went to the store. They were gonna get her like a cute little pantsuit type outfit, and she's like, no, I want a dress. So she wanted like a gown to wear and all that, and the woman HR was so like, she was so shocked, but she thought it was so cute that her daughter finally wanted to wear a dress. And I said, yeah, Layla had the same reaction the first time I wanted to buy a dress.
Layla's like, oh my god, it's so cute.
Oh. My legs and ass still hurt, Layla.
Damn, Layla, don't go so hard next time.
God. No, so now we're exercising, and we got
exercising in quotations.
well, no, we got P90X, right? But we didn't get the
He got somebody's P90X.
We didn't get the standard P90X. We got the P90X3, which is they take the hour-long P90X. Like, because you have to do something every day for, 6 days a week. You get Sundays off, whatever. And they cram it into 30 minutes. And it fucks your shit up. My legs have been hurting for 4 fucking days.
Yeah, it's kind of a myth. Because when I used to kickbox for an hour, it was 9 rounds, 3 minutes each. And then in between was a 50-second interval training. So squats, planking, whatever. And that was rough. But then they were like, oh, we also have a 30-minute class. And you're like, oh, 30 minutes. Even better. I'll just get in, get out. Probably won't be as intense. Sweet mother of God.
Yeah.
Like that 30 minutes, you want to die. You're just like, this can't be healthy. It can't be safe. Like I don't think my heart's literally supposed to be beating in my nose right now. like, is there a medic? Like, I'm going to die.
It's it was great. Like at the end of it, it's 30 minutes, and Layla and I are like panting, fucking sweat dripping off of us. So it was great, and it was only legs. Like it's just run. Okay, now squats. You do this. You do lunges, and you're just like fucking crap. And yeah, my legs and ass have been killing me.
I mean, it's not your story. That's fine.
Yeah,
Nobody.
that's where I'm going with it. All right, so we didn't really ask anybody in the group about food that they associate with books, but we got the Curtains here, so we're gonna throw her on the mic and see what she has to say. Hey, Curtains, I'm gonna do.
I'm trying to think of like any other books that really associate with like Lord of the Rings. Don't the hobbits eat like 12 times a day or something?
Breakfast.
Yeah, like I never read Lord of the Rings because it's just not my thing. But I think they where's our expert? Where's Molly? Molly is such a Lord of the Rings like psychopath that they just interviewed her about what Lord of the Rings meant to her. Like they're doing like some sort of like right. But they're only interviewing like 5 people, and she's such a psycho for it that she's one of them. Like, yeah,
That's cool.
no, she will go fucking nuts for, like, you like Anne Rice.
I do.
She worships like fucking Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Zach likes to throw me on here because
I know,
it gives him
so he can just scroll on his phone and just basically fuck off.
I'm gonna show
I'm actually looking for something pertinent to
the
this.
people of the world what is happening right now because
I'm looking for something pertinent to this.
sure you are.
We'll believe it when we see it. Look at him scramble now, trying to look for something pertinent.
Oh, I'm scrolling through this because I saw something a minute ago. It's pertinent to this shit, and I gotta find it.
Hi, Lovey. I don't know why I'm talking to you.
I mean, I always eat. I mean, Martina knows this. She makes fun of me for it. I literally eat all fucking day long. I'm a fat funky squirrel. I don't know what to tell you.
The thing is
that is who I identify
when
as.
I worked at Lenscrafters, I used to work with this girl who was a former beauty queen, and she was like 5'11", and she maybe weighed like 115 pounds. But sweet mother of God, if you didn't stuff something in this chick's mouth at least every hour and a half, she's a goddamn psychopath.
I'm no fucking beauty queen.
Well, I'm just saying, like, she had to eat, and she used to say all the time, I have a metabolism disorder. It's like, you're a bitch. Like,
yeah.
And so every time she'd start to be a bitch, somebody would be like, oh my God, get her a candy bar stat. Like,
yeah. I don't have a metabolism disorder. I just like to eat. I just like food.
I don't know. You do get kind of cranky.
I'm
like,
just fat.
You are not fat. Stop saying that. You are not fat at all. I'm fat.
I just eat all the time, no matter what. Always.
I eat all the time.
So and these days, you know, I work full time. And so I get home at 5, between 5 and 5:30, usually closer to 5, depending on how life is going. And so I don't really have a whole lot of time to sit down and read at home. So I read at work on my lunch break. So I am eating while I read. I'm just eating whatever I'm eating. But I'm always eating. So, I mean, it's not unheard of for me to want to eat when I'm reading, if I find time to read at home. I think the entire time I read the Anne Rice books, the Vampire Lestat books, I think for every book in that series that I read, I was eating dry cereal out of a Ziploc baggie. I would fill. I know. I'm so fucking weird.
Was it Cheerios?
No, it was Honey Bunches of Oats.
No, because I'm like when I had Mick when she was little, you know, like we used to feed her Cheerios, but I would find that I was the one eating the Cheerios out of the bag because they were good food to just like mindlessly snack on. They're like the perfect size.
Honey Nut Cheerios specifically.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh yeah, I do
fucking
love Honey Nut Cheerios.
Bomb.
But yeah, no, back then I was eating when I was reading that series and pretty much all of her books. It just makes me want to eat Honey Bunches of Oats because that's what I was eating at the time when I was eating it. And I would eat it dry out of I'd get a little Ziploc baggie and I'd fill it with Honey Bunches of Oats. And I was living at my mom's house in Maine, and they have a gorgeous deck out back. And so I would get a towel, and I would go out on the back deck, and I would lay the towel out, and I would get my little baggie of cereal, and I would have probably a Surge or whatever soda I was drinking. I went through a Surge phase. I went through an arse.
Do you remember the
Bunches
90s?
of Oats. It's like, I have to have something to offset my fucking sugar.
Right,
and
sugar
crap.
with sugar. Exactly. And I would just lay out there all day and read until my face hurt because the sun was so hot. And
I used to do that in the 90s. But we would read, so we had these lounge chairs. So we lived out in the fucking sticks. So we would sit in my friend Kim's front yard, which is basically just gravel. And we had our lounge chairs, and we would listen to the Violent Femmes, their album, which is fucking so bomb. And we would just lay out and we would read, and we would just like bake in the sun, which is not good for somebody as pasty as I am. Probably I have skin cancer somewhere. And we were just like, I don't remember that we were eating. We probably were. We fucking mainlined a lot of popsicles back then because we were also speedballing like a motherfucker. Because this is back in peak fen time when everybody was doing phentermine and fenfluramine. So it was like, oh, one pill makes you bigger, the other makes you smaller. So like one's an upper and the other one's a downer. And they're like, oh, you don't want to take extra caffeine. So every fucking girl on the planet was like, what happens if you take extra caffeine? Like, well, it speeds up your metabolism too much and your heart rate and da-da-da. But do you lose weight faster? Well, yeah, but say no more.
Sold.
So we were literally spent an entire summer just like fucking living off of diet soda and pills. And we were just like cracked out all the fucking time. It was, we looked the best we'd ever looked in our whole lives. It was amazing.
See, I wish, part of me wishes that we didn't know so much about that stuff these
Right?
days. And I could just jump on that bandwagon like my mother did.
Yeah, well, now the new thing is Contrave, and they're like, oh, well, it's similar to fen, except if you look at the ingredients, it's an antidepressant, just like fenfluramine, you know. But then you look at the other ingredient, and it's like naloxone, which, for those of you not in the know, Suboxone is what we give heroin addicts to supplement, like, to get them off of heroin.
Yeah, to help with the DT.
Yeah. So they're like, because this is going to take care of your cravings, and this is going to take care of your depression, and hopefully somewhere in the middle you'll lose weight. But I'm like, damn, that's hardcore. And if you go to pick it up in the pharmacy, they're like, that's $170.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'll just be fat. Thanks.
A while ago, a couple years ago, when I found out that I have some issue, I actually do have some issue with my metabolism, but it's the opposite. It's really fucking slow. I actually have the metabolism of, I think that Zach was there with me. I think he said it was an 86-year-old man.
Oh.
That's what my metabolism's like.
Did they make you do the weird thing where they put the mask on your face and test your metabolism, or did
No,
they
they
do it a way?
made me pee in a thing for a week.
Oh, you had to do the
I had to
whole...
keep the pee for a week.
That's always fun. You have to put it in your fridge. Yep.
It was exciting because we lived in a house with roommates. It's like, do
Yeah.
not drink
Yeah.
the jug of
Apple juice.
Yeah, you know that weird jug that looks like a medical thing? Don't fucking drink that, you fucking weirdos.
Yeah, so back then, they put me on what was then still in trial phases. He was curious. He was like, you're gonna be a guinea pig. We don't really know what this is gonna do to you. And so he put me on Qsimia, which was back in trial phase at the time. So it wasn't on the market like it is now. And he was like, this is for extremely obese people. It's not really what a typical doctor would prescribe for you, but I'm curious to see what happens. So,
okay, cool.
I was like, cool,
Should
bro.
I journal my fucking descent into madness?
Yeah, so he was like, because that has phentermine in it. And he was like, now it's, you're only going to lose probably at most 15 to 20 pounds because of what they had been seeing in trial of the percentage of body weight that people were losing. It was relatively small.
And they wanted you to come off of it.
And they wanted you to be able to come off of it.
Yeah.
Right. And so he was like, all right, insurance doesn't cover it. So it's $120 a month. And at the time I was like desperate. So I was
whatever.
like, fuck it. Okay. You can't have children. You can't do this. You can't do that.
No problem.
Great. Cool. Okay. I lost 45 pounds and the doctor fell out of his chair when I went back to
in 2 months.
When I went back to see him, and he was like, well, that confirms it. It is your metabolism.
Well, and the thing is, because I had to start going to the doctors with her because she come home in tears, and then she's like, what? She said, the doctor literally was just telling me I'm fat. And I'm sitting here, I went to the doctor with her, and the doctor's like, well, you need exercise anymore. And it's like, doc, I'm telling you right now, as her fiance, because at the time we weren't married, I said, she runs 5 miles every single day and then spends an hour in the gym.
Right.
I would go.
And vegetable. We were almost a vegetarian diet at that point. I'm like, her not losing weight has nothing to do with her health. He goes,
I literally had a doctor say, you're just not trying hard enough.
Who's the doctor
and
that does,
I
like,
almost started to
metabolism
cry.
An endocrinologist.
Endocrinologist.
So
that's the crazy doctor that put me on.
With me going and swelling up on him, because our doctor was a sports
doctor. Yeah.
With me swelling up on him, basically being like, "You're a fucking asshole." She's doing all she can. Da 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 da. He sent us to this doctor just to appease us and shut us up.
Right.
And then we go there, and he does this, and he goes, "Yeah, your metabolism." Because our doctor, because previous doctors was
you're
like,
the one talking. Okay. Take this back. Because nobody can hear you.
Previous doctors were telling us that
previously on
House. They were telling us, like, you had some doctors that are like, oh yeah, heavy steroid injections can fuck your metabolism.
100%.
But then there are still doctors that are like, that's an urban myth. And ours was a sports physician, and he believed that it was a myth. And he told us that. He goes, well, there's a split debate in the field, and I'm one of the doctors that subscribes to the notion that it is not that. It's that's an excuse that people use when they gain weight. It's on the person. Then we go to this endocrinologist, and he goes, yeah, your doctor's a moron.
Right.
Well, and the endocrinologist...
It's always fun when you watch the specialist fight. Fight!
Yeah.
And in this corner.
The endocrinologist actually found out that almost 10 years after I had gotten steroid injections, it was for my back.
Yes.
They did cortisone shots.
Still detectable.
They were still in my system. Almost 10 years later. That's why he had no idea how to treat it, because he was like, this is something that happens to so few people that we have no idea why it happens or how to fix it.
It settles into like the muscle, and he was saying it's a rare condition, and he was briefly explaining it to us, but basically where the steroids settle into the muscle tissue, and he goes, and then your body won't break them down.
And flush them out.
Yeah.
But speaking of asshole doctors, so my niece is like 20 weeks pregnant, right? Mm-hmm. And she's swelling, like her hands swell every night. And it's like it's a symptom of like potential preeclampsia, like high blood pressure in pregnancy. Highly dangerous condition. So she calls her doctor. She's like, I'm a little worried. She's like, my hands are numb when I wake up in the morning. And she's like, my heart races at night. And it's just like, it's weird. And I'm like, no, you need to fucking go to the doctor. And so they're like, yeah, you need to come in today. And she's like, well, I can't come in today. I'm at work, but I can come in tomorrow. So then she goes in there the next day, and the doctor walks in, and the first words out of his mouth are, it's a little early for all of this, don't you think? She was like, what? He's like, you're only 20 weeks along, and you already got all this going on? She's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, what do you want me to say? He's like, I told you need to watch your sodium. You need to do this. You need to do that. She goes, I've cut out all caffeine. I've stopped eating anything with salt. I swim every day. I put my feet up every day. And he just like dismissed her. He's just like, yeah. Didn't even check her blood pressure. She left. She was like, and my niece is like, you've met her. She's a fucking ball buster. She goes, I was so shocked. She's like, I didn't even know what to say. Like everything he said, I was just like, okay. I was like, you need a new fucking doctor. I was like, fuck that guy. Like, if he's not even going to take your blood pressure, he's not going to take anything you say seriously, which is such a problem with doctors in general.
Isn't that an ethical violation? Like, he should have checked it regardless, just in case.
He should be checking her blood pressure every visit. Like, he should be checking her iron levels. Like, and this comes from experience. When I was pregnant with Michaela, I had a female doctor, so it's not like a male-specific thing. I had a female doctor. She dismissed every time I said, I feel really short of breath all the time. Like, I'm so winded just walking up our stairs. Like, I just feel, like, really weird, like something's off. And she just kept, blowing me off. And then it got to a point where I was getting halfway up my stairs and having to sit down. And I was like, something's wrong. And my ex, being the fucking sympathetic guy he is, was like, you're just really, like, malingering. You're just really riding this whole pregnancy thing. You don't want to work. You don't want to do anything. So they go in there and they test my iron levels, finally, my blood. And she goes, your hemoglobin's at 7. And I was like, well, what's low? Because back then I was just fucking, I had nothing to do with healthcare. And she's like, oh, well, low is 13. And I was like, so what's 7? She's like, bad. She's like, you're one step away from a blood transfusion. And I was just like, oh, fucking great. Maybe if somebody had caught it, I don't know, 14 or 12 or even 11, we wouldn't be having this fucking conversation right now.
When my brother Tommy was being born, my mom was young. She was 15. And they're doing the whole video thing and all that shit. Well, her doctor was a real asshole. What?
No, it's just funny because, like, it's just like every single person's got, like, let me tell you my 452 stories of my asshole doctors. Everybody has them because doctors are dicks.
Well, her OBGYN was in there and, they giving birth and all that. And he was being, like, really heavy-handed during the pregnancy and, like, really tugging on my brother when he's coming out and all that other stuff and rips her open.
Yeah, no, I had the same thing.
And she starts bleeding profusely. That apparently Davine she flatlined twice. And he's just like taking like this surgical packing and literally like fist cramming it in there. And at this point, because of what happened, they had brought in a general surgeon who kicked her OBGYN out of the surgery room. And he goes, you're going to fucking kill her. And he actually like, I haven't seen the video, but the rest of my family has because I'm like, I don't need to see my mom's hoo-ha. The surgeon actually shoved her doctor away and he almost fell down on the floor and he goes, get the fuck out of this room, and kicked him out of the room. So then he saved Davine's life, but she flatlined twice.
My birth video, which I did not know was being filmed because I was so fucking out of it. I had Stadol and Demerol. Stadol made me hallucinate. I kept telling everybody I was in a cartoon. Anybody who would listen. I was like, I'm in a cartoon. They're like, that's nice, dear. I kept hugging all my nurses and going like, I love you so much. And it was so weird that my fucking ex was freaked the fuck out. He's like, she never tells people she loves them. What the fuck is wrong with her? They're like, oh, she's tripping, honey. Like, it's fine.
We got her on that good shit.
Yeah,
it's
she's
okay.
fine. Like, she's good. So I was in labor for like 22 hours. So eventually that shit all wore off. And it was just straight up. Michaela was stuck. So she was like getting like on my pelvic bone. She was just like...
For those of you playing the home game, Martina is fist bumping her open palm.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it was like.
Thank you. Yes, only on a scale where you kind of wish you were dead. So, I've been in labor for so long that the nurses are sticking around just to see what happens. And I just keep apologizing to everybody. I'm like, I'm so sorry this is taking so long. Like,
I'm pushing as hard as I
was
can.
like, I'm doing everything I can. Nobody can find my doctor anywhere. So... my ex is filming, my mom's standing there, she's like watching the whole proceedings, and then finally the show gets started. Mix come in, and then there's a point in labor that once it's go time, that baby's coming out whether you're pushing or not. Like, your body's just like, nope, we're done, and boom. So he walks in the room just as she's like crowning, and he's just like, oh, stop pushing. And I'm like, bitch, I'm not pushing. Like, this is all her. Like, she's on her way out. She's done. And my mom, on video, says to the doctor, you gonna catch this fucking baby or do I have to? I was like, aw, memories. And that's literally the last thing on the video. It's like my mom screaming at the doctor and then like him putting his glove on just in time to sort of like yank her out, you know? And I was just like, her head was so misshapen from just basically being beaten against the rock of like my pelvic bone. And I still remember they were like, oh, we're gonna go take some pictures of the newborn baby. I was like, you're gonna want to bring a hat. And she's like, oh, we don't put hats on the newborns. It's like, you're gonna want to bring a hat. She comes back, she goes, we used the hat. I'm like, yeah, you did. Like, yeah, you did.
I know. Right now she looks like a bowl for salsa.
Yeah, but just to show you how shitty it is when you don't have health insurance, I was 20 at the time, so I like had whatever like the generic sort of like Sunshine Medicaid kind of thing was, because Michael was still married to somebody else, so I didn't have his benefits. But the doctor was the doctor that they assigned me when I got to Florida. They were just like, here you go, this is your fucking doctor. He had 7 lawsuits against him when he basically fucked up my delivery. And when I went to sue him for the damage that he did to my body, they said, you could, but by the time he's done settling these other lawsuits, he'll have nothing left for you. And I was like, well, how bad are the other lawsuits? She goes, well, one of them, he fractured a baby's skull with the vacuum. She's like, so I'm guessing that they're probably the priority. I was like, why does nobody have this listed anywhere?
Why is he still practicing medicine? Maybe
fun fact, he's still practicing medicine, only without any fucking insurance. He has no malpractice insurance, but he is still, to this day, a practicing OBGYN.
It's probably because nobody will insure his stupid ass.
No, they definitely won't because of all the lawsuits. But you can still be a doctor in practice without malpractice insurance. You just have to fucking put a disclosure up in your practice.
And pay that fucking bill out when you get sued. You now own that money.
Right. But people have to sign a waiver saying that they acknowledge that you have no malpractice insurance. So...
Hi, I'm a red flag.
Right. But the thing is like, he's still a provider for this Medicaid. So you don't have any fucking choice.
All right, looks like we got to wrap this up. God damn it, I really wanted to talk about books this time.
We're just going to have to start calling this podcast Bullshit and Bullshit.
All right, well, if you guys are interested in more bullshit and maybe the occasional book, Martina, you want to hit him with our social media?
God damn it, every time.
I'm going to get you a script.
Thank you. Just like a little fucking note that I can pull up. Facebook.com/booksandbullshit podcast?
Question mark?
Instagram.com/books and BS? Books and BS. Yes. I know what I'm talking about. Books and BS podcast. God damn it, Layla. You want to hit him up with the links? Because I don't fucking remember any of them. I only do this every 4 weeks, you know.
Once a month.
Twitter.com/books BS or and BS? Books bullshit P1. That makes no sense. Twitter.com/books bullshit P1. Fuck. And then also you can, hit us up on Patreon if you want to see all the really good grimy shit that we do.
Yeah, you think this is bad. Check out our Patreon. We've got multiple tiers for you guys. It ranges from weird videos to me reading pornography. And here soon, we're going to start doing challenges where I'm going to do all sorts of other fun, fucked up shit.
Zach will actually jerk off live on camera. Just kidding.
Wouldn't be the first time.
That's a $25 tier. Cheap whore.
And for $50, I'll keep it and mail it to you.
He'll send you his used underwear.
People make money doing that.
Oh, I know. And feet pics.
All right, guys. You guys take it easy. Thanks for coming by, and bye.
Bye.